Is faint. That's better. That's better. Symphony, correct? Yes. Got it. I can't hear. I can't hear. Got it. Got it. Cool. Got it. Okay. Which one, left or right? This way? How far are we away? How far are we away? Hey, here's the deal. Are we live on all three platforms? Hey, folks, today is Friday, June 14, 2019. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live from the 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival. We'll be chatting with Master P, Lil Romeo, Symphony about their new movie. We'll tell you all about it. Also, Anthony Anderson and Chris Singleton talk about their Netflix film Beats. Wait till you hear that interview. Y'all know Anthony's ignorant as usual. But also, we got some big news. We'll talk about a rapper shot 55 times by cops in California while he was sleeping in his car. What is happening in Vallejo, California? Also, in New York, activists are demanding that all cases involving Linda Fairstein, the woman who was behind the Central Park fire, they want those cases reopened. There's going to be a massive protest into the DA's office Monday in New York. And also, we'll talk about a black man shot 20 times by U.S. Marshals in Memphis. They've been protesting all week. Folks, we got a jam-packed show. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's Uncle Roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
Hey, folks, Roland Martin here. It is storming here in Miami, but it is hot inside 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival. It has been on fire since Wednesday when it started. We've been jam-packed with all kinds of stuff. Kicked off with the, of course, red carpet premiere of the movie Shaft. Earlier today, I talked to Amari Hardwick. Yesterday, Anthony Anderson, Chris Singleton, also the cast of Ambitions. And so all kind of great stuff we'll be having for you over the next couple of weeks. But right now, we want to turn to some folks who know a little bit about entertainment, and that is, of course, the patriarch, Master P, who's here. My brother, good to see you as well. Of course, Lil Romeo, looking clean over there. And, of course, Tiffany, how you doing?
Good.
All right, then. So, first and foremost, y'all been at ABF before, right?
Yeah, this is for us. This is probably one of the most important things for us to do as African-American filmmakers. This is it. People don't realize you make movies, you come out there, let the world know what's your project. For us, I got the hook up too. This is financed by us, starring us, the family, Symphonique, Romeo, produced by us.
All by us.
You know, so this is one of the movies, man, that I feel like the world, as African Americans, we need to support. I tell people all the time, Black Panther was a big film, but we didn't own it. So, you know, like we're going to change the game with this movie, showing people across the world that support us because we can support the community.
And the reality, Lil Romeo, is when you think about this place here, there are a lot of independent filmmakers. There are people who don't have deals with major studios. And the reality is ownership is the key. Ray Charles talked about owning your masters. Sam Cooke, same thing. Nipsey Hussle, owning masters. But when it comes to movies, some folks say, hey, I made it. I just want to be able to sell it to somebody else.
That's the easy way out. You got to realize when we're talking about ownership, that takes a lot of work. A lot of people just don't want to put in the work. And we standing next to somebody who that's what he believed in, and that's what he showed the world when he started No Limit Records. If you don't know that story, this man was offered $1 million with no money in his pocket. He turned that down because he understood the power of ownership. So it's going to take a lot of hard work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But the ones who really want to go out there and make a difference, you got to know you're going to fall down, you're going to keep falling down, you're going to keep failing, but it's worth it at the end of the day.
I also think it's going to get bigger from here, because this is going to open up a lot of doors. Not only we put Hollywood stars, we put social media stars, we put a lot of underdog talent that is great, that came to work. I mean, we had over 126 speaking roles in this project, which we up for the Guinness Book of Records.
That's the beautiful thing about ownership.
Yeah.
We get to give the jobs out, and we give it to the people who really deserve it. You know, it's not no game. It's not about, oh, well, this person's doing that. The people who really deserve the jobs is going to get the jobs.
I understand it because, look, when TV One canceled my show, News One Now, when I launched this digital show, people were like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'd rather own the show. And the thing is, Symphony, I get to decide where we broadcast from. I didn't have to ask somebody permission. Can we come and do the show from American Black Film Festival?
Talk about as well. So that's the thing, like, movies really are shaping society. It's more than just entertainment. entertainment. It's about our voice. And, you know, you were talking about things like Central Park 5 and all that. That is showing the world and giving our voice to the world. So us on the comedy side, we're bringing it 2 generations together. And the power of social media and all that stuff, word spreads fast. You know what I'm saying? So we are a powerhouse working from 2 different angles, bringing 2 generations together.
And, of course, I got the hookup. When is it going to drop, too? I got the hookup, too. When is it going to drop?
July 12th in theaters. We're taking Hollywood to New Orleans for the premiere. The premiere is not in Hollywood. It's in New Orleans during Essence Week, July 5th. By us owning this, we're able to do this. Our thing is telling people, you know what, call these theaters. Let them know we need to be in more theaters. They can't limit us in theaters because we have a great classic project that people across the world want to see. But we're not going to let them limit us. We're going to get out here and fight till July 12th come and get in more and more and more and more theaters. I tell them this right now, it's time to support urban films, especially the good ones, the ones that, I mean, this is an incredible cast. You got John Witherspoon in here, Cheryl Underwood, Michael Blackston, Romeo Symphonique, myself, DC Young Fly, P.O. Fatboy. This is going to be an incredible project, and this is only going to open up the doors for more great projects like this.
More doors, and it's more than a movie, it's a movement.
Yeah.
All right, then. Le Romeo, final comment.
July 12th, I got the hookup too. Holla if you hear me.
All right, then. Le Romeo, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Master P.
Big Romeo now.
I'm sorry. Well, first of all, look, it's just like my nephews, they in college, they say, well, I can't call you Uncle Roro. I'm like, no, your ass still my nephew. You gonna call me Uncle Roro. So it's like, but there's ain't nothing wrong with Lil, you know? Because when you hit 50, you be like, can y'all call me Lil? Can y'all call me Lil? Master P, I appreciate it. Symphony's good to meet you. Good luck with it. All right, I appreciate it, my man. Thanks a lot. They're going to, of course, have their panel at 7 o'clock here at American Black Film Festival. I want to bring in my panel right now. Of course, we got Eugene Craig. He's the CEO of his own organization there based out of Maryland. Eugene, what's up?
Hey, doing good, brother. Doing good.
All right, then. So I'm trying to make sure I can hear everybody. Also, Lauren Victoria Burke, NNPA. Lauren is there. And also, I have on the panel, Teresa Lundy, of course, TML Communications. Teresa, how you doing?
Happy to be here, Roland. How are you?
Doing great. So, Teresa, I want to start with you, of course, being here at ABFF. What you're dealing with, there are a lot of people here, Teresa, who are owning product. And what we're now seeing with the digital revolution, we're now seeing the fact that African Americans are saying, wait a minute, why must we sell our stuff off? And so what you just heard there with Master P, of course, Romeo, as well as his daughter Symphony, this is about, again, African Americans saying, wait a minute, let's get the big piece of the pie as opposed to the small piece or the crumbs.
And this is what I'm happy to see that this is going on right now in 2019. But this is a long-standing history that is long overdue for many African Americans and minorities across the country. And I'm just glad, even with your own podcast, Roland, has been influential in providing that education and resources for not only African Americans but minorities and to people nationwide. And so I think right now where we're looking at the digital divide and also where media is going, digital platforms, social media, blogging, everything is technological savvy. Every year, I believe you have Apple products that are doing updates along with many other softwares. But I believe that's what we should be continuously doing with businesses that want to reach newer heights with some of these opportunities that do exist.
Eugene.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited for the movie. I think, Black folk have been creatives and creators for a very long time, and we're in an era where it's being celebrated to own your own masters, to own your own product, to move your own product. And, we're still working out distribution, as Master P said, but I think, what he and his family has done, what he did with No Limit Records, it's a blueprint. It's a playbook that can be modeled and replicated for up-and-coming creators.
Lauren?
Yes. So, yeah, just like Eugene just said. I mean, it is true. I mean, if you go back to Ray Charles and James Brown, they own their masters. I think it was Ray Charles that went from Atlantic Records to Capitol Records, owned all his masters, and obviously made a ton of money. I always sort of get confused. I hope I meet Jay-Z or Beyonce one day, because I'm dying to ask him why he needs his record company, because the distribution piece for music now is all digital. We've seen a few musicians just do it online. Radiohead just dropped their album online and they basically just sold it online. So I always wonder, like, since you don't need to press vinyl anymore, it's getting easier to just distribute your content.
Yep. Well, absolutely is. And so, again, folks, later in the show, we're going to hear from Anthony Anderson and Chris Singleton about their new Netflix movie, Beats. And so look forward to that interview. Let's go to some big news out of New York City, where activists there are demanding that all of the cases that Linda Fairstein was involved in when she was head of the New York Sexual Crimes Unit be reopened as a result of her actions in dealing with the Central Park Five. Joining us right now is Jumaane Williams. He is the public advocate there in New York City. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right. How about yourself, bro? Thanks for having me on.
Man, always good talking with you. Bottom line is this. The Ava DuVernay series on Netflix has really forced a lot of new dialogue. Linda Fairstein, she's lost her book publisher, her agent, her book deal. She's had to resign from boards. Of course, Elizabeth Lederer has decided not to renew at Columbia University. But now this renewed call to reopen the cases. Why do you believe all the cases should be reopened?
Absolutely. You know, and as Tamika Manley said, I don't think that Sister Ava's series told us something we didn't know. It brought it back to light. It made it as personal in a way that we could not ignore it. And so a bunch of us soon after, Justice League, the Arc of Justice, got together and made some demands, some of which you have already said. But also, we said we want DA Cy Vance, who Lederer actually still works for, to fire her. And the second part, and probably most important, is to make sure that all of the cases that Linda Fairstein is supervised over, especially those that did not have any DNA evidence, should be reopened, period. You don't do the kind of thing that she did once. You do it multiple times. And we want to make sure that there aren't other people who are innocent sitting in jail right now. It's hard for us to believe that this was a one-off case.
Not only that, when you talk about that, also there were cops involved. And the fact that the city of New York has still not apologized for this. Raymond Santana, we had him on this show a week or so ago, and he said that the city of New York should release the depositions that were taken in their suit, saying because the people need to know what those cops said under the law and when they were sworn in. Do you also believe that the New York should open up those files, release those depositions unredacted, so people can know exactly what was said?
You know, this is a systems thing. All of the systems failed, and Raymond is right. I mean, we've seen, unfortunately, some of these things happen time and time again. With the Eric Garner case, there was actually the reports that were put on. There were things that just were not true, and we've actually had this happen in New York City multiple times, and everybody knows that there are cases, unfortunately, where officers have lied and there has been no repercussions. So I would say 100% yes. We want everybody to be held accountable. This is something that you can't just let go by, because everybody knows how devastating it was. Brother Raymond, we all saw Corey Wise, who I've seen so many times, had no idea. He's a superhero to me right now. But we owe it to them and to the other folks who have been going through this, and the people who we know are still in jail now, to keep pushing forward. And we are not going to let up until Cy Vance, the DA, says that he's going to make sure that these things are reviewed, and Lederer, who still works for him, is fired. And we should go further and ask for these depositions to be reopened so people can see what happened and the folks who were involved are held accountable.
All right, Jumaane Williams, public advocate for the city of New York. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks a lot.
Well, let me just say, at 5:30 on Monday, 100 Center Street, we're going to be going to Cy Vance's office. We're asking everybody to join us, Justice League, Arc of Justice, myself, other electors, other activists. Please come on down and meet us in New York City, 5:30 Monday, 100 Center Street.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Peace.
Lon Victoria Burke, I want to go to you. The pressure continuing on Lederer, on Fairstein. Activists are making it clear they're not going to back down from any of this.
Yeah, and they shouldn't back down because, you know, the public advocate, Mr. Williams, is right. I mean, obviously, this is something that's bound to show probably a prosecutorial pattern in her work. Obviously, the criminal justice system is very controlled by the prosecution side. People get elected, politicians get elected, bragging about how many people they put in jail. There's money to be made off of our criminal justice system, unfortunately, so there's a perverse incentive there in some cases. I would imagine that, knowing New York, because I'm from the Bronx, that this will probably be a very lively discussion and a very lively protest on Monday, to say the least.
Eugene, Craig, what we're talking about here is, again, people demanding accountability, and that's what we're looking at, a level of accountability when it comes to these prosecutors.
Yeah, I agree 100% with the activists. The thing is this: when you see one instance, 1 ounce of prosecutorial misconduct, you got to open up every case. Because the thing is this: our justice system is supposed to provide equal justice under the law. And if you find a trace of equal justice not being applied, you have to have reasonable suspicion that it wasn't applied in other cases. And so, it's only right that, and this is something that should have happened years ago. This is something that should have happened a decade ago when these gentlemen were found to be innocent. It should have been demanded then that the rest of her cases, the rest of their cases were opened up. But with all the new heat around the new biopic of the Central Park Five, or the Freedom Free Five, the rest of the cases from Linda Fairstein need to be opened up. They need to be examined. And look, if she did right by those cases, nothing to happen. If she did wrong by those cases, then we need to figure out how do we properly punish bad prosecutors.
And if she's so confident about that, she shouldn't have any problem with the cases being opened up. She's
Absolutely.
saying that the documentary is inaccurate. Also, by the way, Michael Bloomberg needs to be questioned at some point. He was the one that held up the settlement money, and what was that about exactly? I don't see anybody rushing out to say that this documentary is inaccurate. I don't see any defamation suits being filed. That would indicate to me that the documentary is accurate, and in fact, this insane miscarriage of justice is correct. This portrayal of it is correct.
Teresa, what this also shows us is the power of media. The fact that there was a Ken Burns documentary that was done several years ago, that was on PBS, that got some attention, that had the renewed hype.
Right.
But for this to go on Netflix, the most viewed shows, the most viewed series on Netflix since it premiered May 31st. And because Netflix is worldwide, folks across the world saw this, and not just in the United States.
And that's an example of the power of media, the power of digital platforms, but more so the power of knowing what our voice is and actually putting that out to the public. So, in one instance, we are supposed to be having these platforms and these dialogues and these conversations to bring light to the injustices, to bring light to various situations that are happening across the county. I believe, Sister Lauren and Eugene earlier, when we're talking about doing an examination of those cases, because, again, every municipality has an auditor, has a city controller, and, again, that is their jobs and duties. So if it takes a platform like Netflix or Hulu to present not only the idea, but present the facts to the public so they can now be pretty much the law enforcer on these issues, then that's what we just got to do. And again, it needs to go further, and solutions need to be had.
Right. Folks, let's now go to our next story, and that is the case of this rapper, Willie McCoy, who was sleeping in his car. All of a sudden, Vallejo, California cops roll up on him, shoot 55 times in 3.5 seconds. This video is greatly disturbing. Folks, watch this video.
I got you. Hey, keep your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Show me your hands! Crossfire! Crossfire! Officers, you're okay. Get medical stage. Hands! Is everybody good? Hands! anyone hit? Yep, we're good. I'm good. All officers are okay. Moving is non-responsive.
Folks, this was the 16th shooting in the Bay Area since 2011, most of them involving black and Latino men. Joining us right now is John Burris, civil rights attorney, and the attorney for the family of Mr. McCoy. John, what is stunning is this is not somebody who was sitting in his car threatening folks all around. This is not somebody who was waving a gun. He was literally asleep. Now, we've heard multiple things. Is it true that he had a gun on his lap?
Well, as far as we understand, there was a gun in the car, and it was in his lap or nearby. And the issue was when the police tried to wake him up, they claimed that he made some kind of movements toward the gun. Our view is that he was being awakened. And as anyone who is awakened out of a deep sleep, they don't know where they are and what their natural reflexes will be. They shot this kid based upon minor reflex, natural reactions that a person might have when they're being awakened, startling from sleep. So the evidence doesn't show that he pointed the gun at anyone, that he put his hands on the gun, that he lifted the gun up or anything. They claimed that he moved his hand, and he did move. It looked like he moved to his left shoulder in that kind of movement. And from that movement, which almost like he was trying to scratch himself while he was asleep, that they opened fire on him. It's pretty outrageous in the manner in which this took place. I can't think of anything worse than that. But I will say this, Roland, that's disturbing. The Vallejo PD went out and got an expert witness who is a hired police practice expert who testifies for the police all the time and generally supports their position. He gives a statement that says that the shooting was justified, the officer's conduct was reasonable, and it's pretty stunning that he would make that kind of accusation when point of fact is that Mr. McCoy was asleep. It was the officers who initiated the contact. It was the officers who were yelling and screaming at him and awakened him and then shot him to smithereens. So pretty outrageous conduct.
It certainly is stunning, and not only that, 55 shots fired in 3.5 seconds. Really? I mean, you needed that kind of firepower for a guy sleeping in his car?
Right, and actually, the worst part about they were already in a position of cover. They didn't really have to shoot. They had to just stay in position of cover, continue yelling or screaming or using a bullhorn, whatever they wanted to do, and give him an opportunity to react to what was in front of him and what they see. But they did not do that. They put themselves in a position where they felt obligated because they felt they were in harm's way. It was poor police tactics, number one, and certainly faulty judgment on their part. So this is scandalous conduct, and certainly from our point of view, criminal prosecution should occur. That has not happened yet. I will tell you this, Roland. I have asked for the Attorney General of the state of California to initiate an independent investigation into the pattern and practice of police shootings in the city of Vallejo. I have at least 10 cases pending now, three other shooting cases. The police department is totally out of control and needs to have intervention.
All right. John Burris, we certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us at Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, folks, so let's now go talk about Memphis, where there have been some violent protests there taking place all week after a officer shot and killed a black man 20 times. Brandon Weber was shot by U.S. Marshals. They were trying to serve a warrant, and more than 300 protesters, folks, have gathered in the Fraser neighborhood of northern Memphis to face off with tear gas being sprayed and numerous arrests. Here's one of Brandon's relatives reacting to this shooting.
Lining up like they right, bro. These folks lining up like they right, bro. These folks lining up like they right, bro. This shit crazy, bro. This shit crazy hell, fool, on God, bro. This shit crazy hell, fool. These folks lining up like they right, bro. Look at these bitches, bro. These folks just killed my motherfucking cousin, bro. These folks just killed my motherfucking cousin, bro. This shit crazy, bro. This shit done killed my cousin down there laying in the street, fool. Laying in the yard, bro. I'm with wherever y'all with. I promise, I'm with wherever y'all with. I don't want to hear no nice ass shit, bro. I don't want to hear no nice ass shit, bro. I mean, if I'm with whatever y'all with, bro. If y'all want to whoop the police, I'm with it. Y'all want to whoop these folks, I'm with it, bro. It's on GD, fool. It's on GD, bro. These folks done killed Brandon, bro. This shit crazy, bro. Man, fuck a job, bro. I don't want to hear no nice ass shit, bro. I mean, it ain't nice, bro. I don't want to hear no nice ass shit. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. That's my mom. I don't want to hear no motherfucking nice ass shit, bro. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. I don't want to hear that shit, fool. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Nigga kill my motherfucker. What you mean, bro?
I want to go to our panel here. I'll start with you, Eugene. We keep hearing these stories, and again, you know, it's amazing. Can any of y'all recall the last white guy who was shot 20, 30, 40, 55 times by cops?
No,
anybody?
No, I can't. If I actually do recall, Dylan Roof, who was a mass murderer, was actually taken out peacefully without being shot and actually taken to Burger King afterwards.
And went to Burger King.
What we're coming to see with policing in America is that these law enforcement agencies, they very well pick and choose when they want to use overwhelming force or when they want to peacefully serve warrants or pick up people, even in a reaction to it. One thing that has stuck out is that if you look at the footage right there, the police are ready at any given time to go in and act violently against peaceful protesters. A lot of the coverage has been, there's been quote-unquote riot in Memphis. No, there was a peaceful protest, and then the police decided to act violently, which led to it turning violent on both sides. But we see time and time again when it comes to white people that, police are able to, sheriffs, police, federal agents are able to come in and serve warrants peacefully and take the person peacefully without firing off a single shot. But, when it comes to black folk, or Hispanic folk, they come in guns a-blazing.
And that's the reality, Victoria Burke, and that's why black folks say, "What the hell?" I mean, we can show you countless examples where first of all, where white guys have pointed a gun at cops and lower your weapon, sir, lower your weapon, and was peacefully arrested.
Yeah, well,
I can't remember any story where a black man was waving a gun, pointing at a cop, and he actually came out of that sucker alive. No, he came out in a body bag.
Yeah, well, the police are a reflection of the greater society. The police are a reflection of our history in the United States over 400 years. The police profession is no different than any other institution in American life, other than the fact, of course, that they do have a license to kill. So when they make a mistake or that there is bias, it's reflected, obviously, in their behavior.
Right.
We've seen, certainly in the Aurora incident in the movie theater, Dylan Roof, we've seen countless incidents of mass shootings perpetrated by Caucasian individuals who are taken alive. It's miraculous. I actually think this situation with the guy sleeping in the car is a really good example of over-policing. I always get confused as to why conservatives and libertarians don't speak out against this, because it is too much government. They find a guy sleeping in a car and then it becomes a shooting incident. Why is that? Why is deadly force? Why was there even a discussion about him sleeping in his car? Like, why did they even find him? And part of that is a reflection of so many cops on the street.
Hey, folks, I got to go to break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk with Lorenz Tate about Season 6, the final season of Power. Also, our American Worker segment, sponsored by AFS-CME. We got a whole bunch of other stuff left right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live, 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival from Miami. Back in a moment. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. All right, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a lot of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. And, of course, they're excited by that. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not better, than the last. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is a cousin to marijuana, of course, and then it has a higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all of the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Now, until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, that changed with the 2018 Farm Bill, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, and this makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. All right, folks, all you got to do is go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org if you want to get in the game. And if you do so, do it now. All right, folks, welcome back to Miami, 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival. I am standing right next to the Black Benjamin Button, the brother who never seems to age, no matter how many times we see him, Lorenz Tate from Chi-Town. What's up, baby?
Chi-Town, what's going on, Roland, man? So happy to see you, man. Roland is always in the right places, man, and bringing his energy. Everybody always sees you, and they's like, Roland is in the building. There's so much love, man. What a phenomenal festival, man. So many great people are here. We did a panel earlier with Lala Anthony as well as Omari Hardwick representing our Power family. And we got some great stuff happening for the fans in Power. We're so excited.
You are a part of what many now call an iconic show. Yes. A show that, let's just be real clear, put stars on the map.
Very clear. And I think Stars knows that. There's no secret that the show Power absolutely put that network on the media's radar in a real way. And so to be a part of such an iconic classic show, and I don't use classic, lightly, it will be, and it is a classic show. I'm happy that I'm a part of it and being utilized and doing things. When Courtney Kemp said that, hey, I need you, Omari Hardwick had been pushing to get me on the show. We're like, brothers in real life, and 50 Cent, he and I have been trying to get me on the show since season 2. So I'm just so happy that I'm able to do what I love to do and that they're utilizing me, and it's going to be something extraordinary. If people are not talking about this show, like people were talking about Game of, I'm not going to say the rest of the show.
Right.
We didn't do our jobs. And the fans, y'all ain't do the job and support. So y'all got to watch the show, and I know you will. It's crazy.
Well, just like how I put Scandal on the map, live tweeting Scandal. I've been live tweeting Power since season 1, so it's not new to me at all.
You're definitely a huge supporter and a big factor of people knowing, so we appreciate that love and support, brother.
So I was interviewing Omari earlier, and so I wanted to get your thoughts about this here, because I experience it all the time. Here, other places I go, going down the street, bus drivers, cabbies, whatever. From your perspective, explain to the folks who are watching, because we're streaming on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, plus we got the podcast, all those things all at one time. What does black love feel like when brothers and sisters who shine shoes, like I say, who are bus drivers, who get cats who just got out of prison, who come up to you and they talk about what you mean to them? How does that make you feel?
It feels right, and it feels like what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be supporting each other. We're supposed to be giving that black love and that black unity. It's so important. And what it says is that we place value on one another in a place where, we've been taught to devalue ourselves, but to be able to stop and to communicate and talk just a little, hey, I appreciate what you do. It goes so far, and it means so much. And so, again, anytime I hear people talk about the projects that I've done and the work that I've done and what it meant to them, just means everything to me, and it keeps me motivated and inspired to do more and better stuff. But again, just to be able to see, what you're doing, what people are doing at ABFF, and showing the love for what Jeff Friday has been able to create here is magical, and the vibe and the energy is just right. My father always talks about, you know, it's not about a sprint, it's about a marathon. God rest Nipsey Hussle, who's about keeping up the marathon continuing. But the thing about it is, like, you know, continue to keep that love and that connection, man, amongst us, man. And the black beauty, you know, it's amazing, that black love.
All right, baby. Always good to see you. Looking forward to the final season, season 6.
Down. Y'all go and make sure y'all check it. It's August 29th, I believe, is when it comes out. Please support it. Check us out. Power, y'all.
All right, baby. I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Dion Cole, get over here. Yeah, see, that's what happened when you live. So I see Dion Cole just over there just talking and everything like that. So I was like, get on over here. And so we got my homeboy, of course, from Blackish. Y'all know him. He's going to be doing the HBO comedy deal tonight.
Shout out. I just want to make sure I get a ticket. Can I get a ticket to the show?
Tonight, man. Come tonight. We need a ticket, or is the badge work?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
It's Chicago love. You know that, right?
This is the love that you was talking about.
Yeah, it's that love right here all day.
Chicago, then. I got to come in here.
Get in here,
This is what we do.
You see how black people from Chicago do? They just bum rush. They just straight bum rush.
What's up, baby?
What's up, Doc?
I'm good, man. Where? If you're not gonna wear your ascots, give them to me. Cause I'm gonna need one. Come on, man, for real. Can I get?
I can hook you up.
Just give me 2 of them. I'm gonna frame one of them. I want a little frame of me, like just rolling my ascot. He retired.
Baby, what's going on?
I'm good, baby. How you doing, man?
I'm all good. Last time I saw you in Washington, D.C., killing them on stage.
Yo, we had a great time. And then we went and chopped it up with Chuck D.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Wasn't that amazing?
Yes, it was.
Man, sat up with Chuck D, me, you, and sat up and kicked it. That was great, man. Yeah, so I'm out here now, man. We're doing the comedy competition, hosting it for the HBO. It's going to be crazy. Got 5 comics they picked from around the country. The best that's going to come here and get down, and they're going to win some money. And they're going to win an opportunity to pitch projects to HBO. And, get their springboard off.
Now, first of all, I have a hashtag called Live Life, Love It. That's my life motto. And your ass was living life, driving through L.A., butt naked, top down, shooting video. First of all, can you please get a phone holder? Because you can't be driving and holding the phone and you're butt naked. And I'm like, really, Dion? Can you put some clothes on?
Man, that's some shorts on, man. It was hot. It was 105 degrees, man. L.A. was 105, yo. And I live way out.
Would you at least put some sunscreen on? We ain't trying to get you to get skin cancer.
Yeah, I had sunscreen on. Yeah, I was doing it though, bro.
If y'all go to his Instagram page, y'all gonna see Dion Cole butt naked driving. What are you driving, Rolls or something?
Bro, no, I don't know what kind of car it is.
It damn sure wasn't a Hyundai.
You silliest. You the silliest, man.
Boy, it was always good to see you. Hold on. I gotta ask you, the IG video of your mama.
My mother is
saying when I felt you. I felt you. I felt your spirit in town. You were looking like.
My mother always doing that. She like, it's the DNA. I told you. She call it divine anointment. Anointment. That's what she got. So she, anytime I come in town, she go, I knew you was here. I'll be like, you didn't know I was here. I didn't even tell you I was coming in town. So, yeah, my mom's the best. Shout out to my mama. Hey, mama. It's all good, though.
It's always good to see you.
Keep doing your thing.
I will do. So what? Do our badges work for tonight, or is it something special we got to have?
No, man. Just have your badge. You all good. Tonight is...
I don't carry a badge.
Oh, you Roland Martin. You don't need nothing. Cut it out. Roland trying to be modest. See you tonight, boy.
All right, Dion. I'll see you tonight, baby. All right, again, we're here at the 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival. And so we had some other stuff planned, but bottom line is when folks strolled through, we had to go ahead and just grab them. And so we appreciate Master P, Lil Romeo, Big Romeo, as well as Symphony, of course, and also Lorenz Tate and Dion Cole stopping by. All right, folks, I want to go back to our panel there in Nation's capital. And I got to ask y'all about this story here. So first of all, I'm going to go to our American Workers segment sponsored by AFS CME before I talk about my next story. Y'all go ahead and roll tape. All righty, folks. Again, here is our American Worker segment. Y'all got it ready? If so, roll it.
A lot of the times people look at them as juvenile delinquents, but everybody has a past. Nobody's perfect. My name is Tanisha Barnes. I work at New Beginnings Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, and I'm a cook there. At 3:15, I get up, get myself ready. I have to leave out by, later than 4:25 to get to work. When I get to work at 5 o'clock, I cook, prepare breakfast, prepare lunch. The population is 30 males, and I just try to let them know that it's okay. We all make mistakes, but it's where you go and what you do after your mistakes to make everything better. When I cook for the kids, and they say, I know you cook this, because you cook this with love, didn't you, Ms. B? You put this love in that. Having children and then becoming a union member shows me that it's more that I could fight for, better education, better paying jobs, safety. You're helping develop something more meaningful in the workforce. I even got my kids involved. We do rallies, we do door knocks. I'm working for myself, I'm working for my children, and I just want them to be proud of me for going after what I believe in and following my dreams as I try to push them to do the same thing. I love my kids and I love the kids I serve, and I'm glad that I can go and make a positive impact on their lives every day.
All right, folks, we certainly appreciate AFSCME for being a partner here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right, panel, what the hell is wrong with folks in Illinois? Illinois prison has removed 200 books from the prison library, most of them dealing with the issue of race. Illinois Department of Corrections officer John Baldwin said the explanation he received from the Danville prison warden was that a lot of the books got in without going through the, quote, review process. There were no explanation for how the prison identified the books that weren't subjected to a review process. Y'all, we're talking about books such as the book on the color of law explaining housing discrimination in Chicago, another book on Frederick Douglass. Really, Teresa? Really? Most of the books dealing with race and police and inmates and black people, really? Teresa there?
The institution psychological piece that I think they're doing with inmates to pretty much keep them in bondage and make sure they're uneducated, unequipped, and unworthy of having that type of education once they leave. I believe also in that article, they also said they had a book there that had to relate to children's books and how men, should be talking to their children and stuff like that. So pretty much life lesson books. And that hasn't went through their review process, which I think is pretty much absurd. But again, keeping not only the minorities down, the black people down, but pretty much anybody who is getting out of prison, who wants a second chance, should be educated on their rights and responsibilities.
Lauren, ain't nobody buying this excuse that of all the books that you have out there, you're banning the ones dealing with black people?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it comes down to the decision of some warden standing someplace that, thinks that these books are dangerous. It also comes down to the question of whether or not we believe prison is about rehabilitation or punishment. I don't know why that would have anything, though, specifically to do with these books, but generally speaking, when people become threatened by ideas and threatened by, things that would maybe empower people who are incarcerated, these types of dumb things happen, and here we are.
Eugene, first of all, yes, it's amazing. Words are dangerous because they are power. And when you all of a sudden begin to educate and inform inmates, that's the last thing these folks want.
Yeah, look, truth is treason in the empire of lies. Ideas are powerful, ideas are dangerous, and the most easiest way to transfer an idea is via a book. And, the warden and probably some of the prison guards understand that. And, the climate of things going on outside of the prison's walls, which affect things inside the prison walls. They said, we can't have our guys getting access to these ideas. And that's what you're seeing right now. So it's a form of censorship, which should not take place.
It probably wasn't even that deep of a decision. There was probably not a lot of deep thought that went into that. I wouldn't imagine that, you know, they sat around for too long really thinking deeply about these books that they probably themselves had not read. So they're judging it probably by the title and the general subject matter, and that's pretty much it.
Right. All right, then, folks. So hold tight 1 second. Tonight on Showtime is the debut of the documentary 16 Shots. It is about the death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald in Chicago, which, of course, led to massive protests there, as well as the eventual conviction of the cop who killed him, who lied about it, but who also killed him. Here's a preview of that documentary.
Chicago Police Department averages maybe 30 police shootings a year.
I think it's a level of people being desensitized from the violence.
When you look at the police reports that were signed off, it's a justified shooting.
If somebody gets near you with an open knife, I'm sorry, but that's a threat.
What the local news put out there.
An individual with a knife coming at the officer.
That is not the story. This boy been shot, and there's a lot of bullet holes in him. I'm just
There is police dash cam video that contradicts the official story.
What we saw was, in our opinion, a first-degree murder.
There's an escalation of involvement from people across the city.
Justice for us is Jason Van Dyke being convicted of the murder of Laquan McDonald.
He was their son. He was their brother. He was them.
Chicago has not had to reckon with what happens when you don't hold folks in law enforcement accountable.
Almost overnight, the power and legitimacy of city institutions cratered.
There's 86 minutes that are missing.
The Laquan case was not a cover-up. It's a story of our racial nightmare in this country.
If he is acquitted,
All right, again, folks, that documentary airs tonight on Showtime. All right, Lauren and Teresa and Eugene, we know we got some basketball fans. But I saw this video on social media before we came on the show, and this brother was not particularly pleased that the Toronto Raptors beat the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA title. Press play.
Hey, hold up. Fuck, I lost too much money on that shit. You fucking fuck off. Hey, it's just a game. It's just a game. It's just a game. Move, dog. I lost too much money on that shit, dog. Real talk now. Whoa. Move, son. Move.
Really, Eugene? Really?
Jesus, take the wheel. Apparently he lost too much money on that dog game. Look, you know, what you see here is a prime example of when one bets just way too much money on a game that he has no, awareness of what the outcome's going to be. You should have been prepared for the Raptors to eventually close out. I had, trouble believing that they were closers because they should have won it in Game 5 and ended up winning it in Game 6, as many people, thought that they may end up doing. But it was close and almost went to a Game 7. But he should not be surprised. Even if you look at Warriors basketball over the last 5 years, the three championships that they have, they were mostly won off of other teams being injured. People were complaining on Twitter
it don't even matter. Lauren, you don't destroy your damn TV and your computer because you lost some money. Now your ass about to lose some more money.
I know. I mean, that's what happens when you gamble. I mean, I don't know nothing about basketball other than the teams that have the words New York or Virginia on them. But, yeah, I mean, when you bet on stuff that, like with sports, anything can happen. Like, particularly with football and basketball. Everything comes down to, like, the last few minutes in typical professional basketball games, particularly in the championship, like you basically can just wait the last 2 minutes, but you have no idea what's going to happen. So to be betting on that is real foolhardy, real foolhardy.
Teresa, if you don't have enough money to lose it and not destroy your television and computer, my suggestion is you don't bet.
Hope that television and that computer was actually his, because I'm sure there's an outtake somewhere where somebody's like, bruh, that's my stuff. So, I just hope that it was his property. It's the foolishness out of it. I think we got some laughs, but we also had to raise an eyebrow. But I hope he did learn a lesson, and I do hope if he ever goes to a casino, he does know he will be escorted and probably held down if he tried to do that inside of a casino.
Absolutely. And so we had to show that video. First of all, I want to thank Teresa, Eugene, and Lauren for being on our show today. Folks, we're going to end the show. First of all, if you please support our Bring the Funk fan club. At the end of the show, we're going to roll the credits of all the folks who have given to our fan club. We appreciate all of you and all the dollars that you have given towards us to make this type of show possible, being able to travel to the American Black Film Festival to bring you content that no one else is really bringing you. And so we're going to have that at the end of the show. But first, I interviewed Anthony Anderson and Chris Singleton about their Netflix movie Beats, which is a very interesting story about a young musical genius in Chicago, but who is dealing with PTSD from the gun trauma there, and a man who made mistakes in his past is now a school security guard, how he, of course, is trying to help this young man. I sat down with the both of them, talk about this film, and just letting y'all, I'm just warning y'all right now, Anthony Anderson, being Anthony Anderson, let's just say you might hear a few MFs in this conversation. All right, folks, we're going to play this. I'm going to say bye now, but you're going to watch the rest of this. I'm going to see you guys Monday right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered. Here's my conversation with Anthony Anderson and Chris Singleton from the 23rd Annual American Black Film Festival. Is this a flashback? Is this your personal sequel to Hustle and Flow?
No, it's not. You know, it's an ode to Hustle and Flow in a way that this story is a combination of Goodwill Hunting and Hustle and Flow. Man, nice little coming of age story. So I'm happy to be here with my brother Chris Robinson, directing us and directing the great piece.
Chris is set in Chicago, rich music scene. And so what did you want to bring out, the flavor of Chicago? Because we're talking about not just hip-hop. We're talking about, we can go back to blues. We can go back to Chess Records. We can go back to a whole lot of artists that have come out of the Windy City.
Listen, from Common to Buddy Guy, we wanted to be authentic. Like you said, it's a rich history in Chicago. And that's the big point for us in making film, is that it's always authentic. When you're in it, you want to feel the city, from the way the dog sounds down the street that's different, from the way the alleys feel and sound, just sonically. This film is a sonic film in many ways. So what we really just wanted to bring across was authenticity.
Now, in this, you a janitor? What are you? Something like that?
Obviously, you haven't seen the film, bro.
No, because I had to go to the premiere tonight to see the film.
Why did all the other journalists who came in here before you see the film, Roland?
Because they ain't me.
Obviously. No.
What do you play?
I'm not a janitor, okay? I'm a high school security guard.
Oh, hell, that's the same thing. Because at a black high school, the security guard was a damn janitor.
He was everything. He was the therapist. He was the janitor. He was the mechanic. He was the shop teacher. He was assistant principal. But no, my character Romello, had a fall from grace from the music industry, and he finds himself basically a rent-a-cop, a school security guard, trying to get these kids back in school, and I come across this young talented kid who's now being homeschooled because of some things that happened to his family in the street, and anxiety and PTSD, and I see a chance to get my life back musically and to give him a new life in the process, without really screwing him over. Yeah, but I do so in the end. but I have some redemptive qualities.
Yeah, that's totally fictitious right there. That's totally fictional. Chris, when you talk about how do you separate for the audience? How do you try to create a different vision for the audience who sees Anthony as a father on Blackish, but you have to create something different? You got to show them something different when it comes to a movie. How do you approach that, knowing full well it's a show that's still going on, and so people go, wait a minute, hold on, that's the dude from Blackish.
Well, I think it's all in his performance. I think, what he is. He represents us in the culture in many ways, right? He's when you see him, you feel good about yourself. You see him as a father on Blackish. You see him as a host at award shows. So we know there's a certain quality in what he represents in us. So the challenge is coming into this role is how does the audience see him? But when you have an actor who has chops this way, when he becomes this character, and he leaves, he looks like he looks, right? But he leaves that character behind and he becomes Romello. I think that the audience just sinks into it, and before you know it, you forget, that he plays another role. And that's what this brother has, is he's just a great actor.
So I appreciate all of that. So tell me about Anthony.
See, Roland, if you had seen the film, Roland, that wouldn't have been a question that you would be asking right now.
Actually, with those of us who know how to ask questions, that is why you ask that question, to elicit that response from the director. That's why you actually do it. So if you can stay your ass in your lane, and then I'll stay in mine. This is what I do. This is what you do.
When's the last time you've been called a motherfucker on your show, Roland?
The last fucking time I interviewed you.
Oh, well.
At your golf tournament. The last time.
That was just 3 weeks ago.
Yes. And since I borrowed the N-word, he really want to call me that. And then he used the coon word. I said, I don't allow coon either. He was like, well, how's motherfucker? I'm like, that's allowed. Okay, motherfucker. See, that's what happens.
Right. I love you, brother.
This is how every interview goes. And luckily,
is that why I never see myself on your network?
No. You always on. And luckily, my show is called Roland Martin Unfiltered. I own it. We stream it. So he's so happy he can actually cuss without being bleeped.
Hey, remember that time I cussed out the Reverend? Wasn't he a Reverend? I was in the studio in D.C. You guys were in New York because you had to do something at the White House.
Yes.
And that man,
yes, he was really extra.
I can't remember what I said, but I basically cussed out a pastor on Roland's show.
This is me. Pastor, I'm sorry.
Pastor, I'm sorry. God know where my heart is.
No, God knew you a heathen. So God's like, you lying right now. So how did you have to deal with that? Because you're trying to do this serious movie, but you have to deal with all of that.
Listen, when you come to play in the big leagues, you got to be ready to play in the big leagues. This is a perennial all-star in the big leagues. So you can't be a wilting flower when you come to set and you guys are making it work. Because listen, as hard as we work to make something authentic, it's not always great days. It's not always that everything is beautiful, but you meet the challenge, and our goal is the same. Our goal is to create something that is authentic, and the only reason to do this work, this is a labor of love. It's not, we didn't go do a Marvel movie and make, millions of dollars. What we did was something for our culture, something that we loved, and something that resonated with us personally.
And last question for you, is this for all the rent-a-cops out there?
Uh-huh. What about it? Okay, power to the people, for all the high school security guards out there that's representing.
So do you now treat security guards better?
I've always treated top flight security good, man.
Because you were once in a previous movie.
Yes, I was. Big Mama's House, I believe. Yeah.
That's when you were Big Anthony.
Do you like Big Anthony or Small Anthony?
We all like Big Anthony.
Okay, well.
Big Anthony was funnier.
This interview's over. My comedy has never been predicated upon my weight.
I told you, like Luther, Big Luther, Little Luther.
I like Healthy Anthony.
Unfunny Healthy Anthony. That's what.
Shit. I wish type 2 diabetes on you. I wish it on you.
See?
I wish the sugar's on you.
And he was just talking about God. See, right there, he was acting. Good luck with the film, guys.
Oh,
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. Okay, got his faint. That's better. That's better. Symphony, correct? Yes. Got it. I can't hear. I can't hear. Got it. Got it. Cool. Got it. Okay. Which one, left or right? This way? How far are we away? How far are we away? Hey, here's the deal. Are we live on all three platforms? Want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.